Hey, Doug Greathouse here, your host of the Entrepreneur Journey podcast. And before we get into yet another amazing interview with an incredible entrepreneur where they share their secrets of success, their story, I wanted to tell you about the Profitable Business Program. It is a program that I've put together in conjunction with Jason Webb over at the Profitable Salesman. And it is a program if you are a course creator, a coach, or an entrepreneur looking to raise your monthly revenue in as little as 6 weeks. So I don't think there's too many people that wouldn't like to do that. So I'm going to quickly put up the roadmap right here. So you can check out some of the modules. We cover everything from goal setting so you can hit your goals much faster than you ever thought possible with the strategies that we give you, creating a magnetic offer that pulls the clients to you, marketing momentum where we pack in a lot of marketing strategy as well as done for you content. We do done for you email automations, done for you sales scripts, done for you lead magnets. And in addition to that, the profit pipeline, that's where we build 2 proven high converting funnels for you. All this within 6 weeks. After that, we teach you where to get and show you the strategies to get the traffic through the traffic flow system, both organic and paid strategies. We cover those. And in the Revenue Rocket, Jason takes you through how to properly close sales, to the presentation, to the close, to how to handle objections. That's a masterclass in sales. And then last but not least, we're helping you pull in all these clients, right? How do you keep them? So the Success Amplifier is about scaling and also about client retention. So we cover that in the last module. So if you're interested in learning more about this, the link is below.
So welcome everyone to another episode of the Entrepreneur Journey. I am so pleased to have Chris Jankulovski. If I mess that up,
Jankulovski.
See, I rehearsed this with him right before the call, and that's just how it goes. If I wouldn't have rehearsed it, I would have said it right. So my apologies, Chris. It is so good to have you here. You are the author of Near Death Lessons, which we'll get into that. You're also a speaker and the founder of Remote Staff and a life and business strategist. And I've had a chance to get to know you a little bit and know a little bit of your story, but I'm so anxious to share it with my audience. So without further ado, can you just we'll get into your story and some of your expertise later, but kind of give us the base of who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm a guy who lives between Sydney and LA, and every month I find myself in 2 parts of the world. And yes, I sleep about 2 to 3 nights every month in the sky, and it's a fascinating experience to be able to build a business in America and in Australia, be involved in a life that allows me to flourish in both parts of the world. And I also travel a lot to Asia. But I'm a 50-year-old man who has got 2 children in Sydney, Australia, who are there and come visit me in America, 7 and 13, a wifey. And I'm very passionate towards what I do. I'm very purpose, mission driven led with the work around my book and all that entails, as well as my staffing company, Remote Staff, and the impact we make with both staff and entrepreneurs in that business as well.
Nice. Well, two cities that are fabulous to be in, I'm sure, Sydney and LA. I look at the view behind you, and it is breathtaking. So it's a little bit cold here today where I am in South Carolina. So that looks very inviting.
It's always sunny over here. It's remarkable. Yeah.
Nice. So I always like to start off with the guests and ask them some getting to know you questions. And the first one for you is, through your incredible journey, what's a small everyday habit or ritual that you have that brings you joy or helps keep you grounded?
For me, having had as much adversity and near-death experiences as I have, every day is a day that I'm always reminded of just how remarkable being alive is. And so for me, the opposite of death is gratitude. And so for me, embracing my mortality the way I have has filled me with abundance of gratitude daily. And so for me, it's daily gratitude. And there's so much to be grateful for. And so I love embracing gratitude because it fills the soul so much. It's amazing. And so for me, it doesn't take much to fill it. A little walk, a beautiful view, awesome breakfast, a new restaurant, meet someone, It's the little things. That's all that's required. An appreciation of a beautiful day, perhaps, or even a cold day. It's all gorgeous. It's all awesome.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes the cold day, you have a little gratitude to put on your favorite sweater that you don't get to normally put on, right? So very nice. Yeah. Practicing gratitude on a daily basis is something I do myself. And it's so important, like as you say, the little things, because I think people they compare themselves to other people, keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing, and they have a hard time being grateful because they're too busy doing that kind of thing, and it's really helps, like, and then what you really do is like look back on your life, look how far you've come, right? There's so much to be grateful for, and we forget of the journey that we had already been on, right? And brought us to where we are. So so powerful.
Yeah, and remember, the present moment is amazing. I mean, the past can't be changed. The future is just an expectation we have, and no one knows the future, no matter what and no matter how much time we put into it. And so the reality of embracing the present moment for its incredible glory as it is more than enough.
Yep. So my next question I have a question about what you like to do outside of your professional endeavors. So what hobbies or interests do you have?
Well, when you live in two parts of the world and you live so large and full on in both parts of the world, I mean, outside of your work and drive and all the family and all that stuff, there isn't really much. And if there is, it's often to do with, I like to enjoy it with catching up with friends or meeting people. I enjoy my cars, maybe going for a drive. I enjoy driving. I love exploring. I'm always exploring. So those little things like that, the long walks and stuff, and learning. And who doesn't enjoy learning, listening to more podcasts or YouTube clips out there? There's so many ways to personally develop these days. And so more and more people in the world today are contributing more and more value to others. And so we need to be receivers of this incredible value that's out there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I just think of like when my parents, like opportunity today, part of like, I don't know if I would be where I am today if the opportunity wasn't presented there to just be able to learn. The internet opened up so much to be able to learn my skills and grow and be who I am today. So yeah, very, very, very true. So also, in your moments of downtime or reflection, what's a mantra or quote that you like to recite to yourself?
I think for me, it's I don't have one.
Nice.
When I do a lot of downtime, and it's necessary because I think when you give so much of yourself, it's necessary to also have that silence and quiet downtime. And so for me, downtime is really a chance to heal, a chance to embrace the nothingness. And so I don't really follow any. I don't then try to do something during that time. So when I'm off, I try to be off.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we just had a really good discussion about that in the Entrepreneur Connect call that we do every Thursday about scheduling rest. Like there's so much of this hustle culture out there that you just got to keep working. So if you're going to beat the other guy, you have to work more than they do. But there's I think that's a bad thing to say, right? Because you need the downtime to recharge. And we talked about how that downtime can bring you back around and you can have fresh perspective on where you're moving toward. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're all a biological creature. We're not a mechanical engine. We're not a computer program. We are not scripted, even though I sometimes wonder whether our lives are truly scripted or not. When you're so in touch and in line with your intuition and everything, you have to wonder, am I a creation of my genetics or is things scripted out here and I'm just living it out? Go easy on yourselves. At the end of the day, we have this one life. We have this one moment, and time is fleeting. It's so fast. I mean, think about it. COVID was almost 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
February 2020. Hello. It's like blink. And so we're all going to age. We're all going to pass. And so we have our moment, and I think we have to appreciate this magic fact that we've got this body that allows us to have presence in this existence.
Yeah, yeah, it's a marvel. Like God, I'm just talk about some of the places that you lived or you've been. There are many places I've been and just witnessed God's majesty on display, right? And be able to take that in. Yeah, you only have one life, and you got to treasure the moments. Very, very true.
Before you realize, you're 80 and you're looking back and you go, man, I never went to India, or I never got a chance to do this, or wow, I only knew my own culture. I never understood any other culture. Or wow, there's so much on offer in life. There's so much that we can all express and become in this life. But is life truly all about comfort and security or success? Really? No.
It's the journey. You got to love the journey, right?
Yeah, and I think there's an innate gift in all of us that needs to be expressed. I think our purpose in life is not to pursue happiness only. I think it truly is a chance to pursue this ability to say, express this need of service and contribution for others. I think we're all wired that way. And I think finding our gifts, expressing those, developing those, improving on those, and therefore making a bigger and bigger impact in our lives does matter.
It does. Yeah. Make your life matter.
I call it being a good steward. I mean, give God a good return. Come on.
That's right.
It's so easy to be lazy and unproductive in your life and blame everything you can and make all these excuses. But if we were to mention, the big man above doesn't care about excuses.
That's right. He made you for a purpose.
As the book in the background there, the one thing which I love so much as well, says it nicely. If you wanna share your excuses, guess what? You get to keep them.
Yep. You can have results or excuses. You can't have both.
That's right.
Exactly. So this next thing is a little bit of self-promotion. So bear with me for that. And I apologize, but I have a book that is launching today. It is called Dear Younger Me, I Wish You Knew, 15 Powerful Letters That Will Change Your Life. And it was a compilation of me and 14 other authors that wrote letters to our younger selves. So I've been asking all my podcast guests this question. If you had the chance to go back and tell your younger self something, what would it be, and what age would your younger self be when you went and talked to him?
Sure. And first and foremost, mate, congratulations on writing the book and being part of this journey of serving, contributing others in their personal growth. It's a big deal to put in that energy and work. So for myself, if I was to go back, I would go back at the age of 19. So I'm 50 now. So at the age of 19, I had a diagnosis where a doctor told me, Chris, we found the reason for why you're having angiomas and tumors in your eye at the age of 16. We understand why you almost lost your eye and you went blind almost in your right eye. It's because you have a rare hereditary condition called von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. It's a mutation of your DNA, which forms tumors, sometimes cancer, in all your major organs. The life expectancy isn't looking too good. At the moment, the average life expectancy is 30, and you're probably not going to have a long life. So prepare for that. And you might have cancers right now. I wish you all the best. We don't know very much about this condition. That's what my diagnosis was at the age of 19. I left that diagnosis. I went to my car, cried. I cried for about 2 weeks. I shared it with my family. No one understood. I couldn't relate this challenge, this problem, this diagnosis with anyone because I just felt like I just received a death sentence at 19.
Wow. Hopefully you're going to elaborate a little bit more on that story when we get to the next portion. But I have another question for you.
Wait. I haven't answered your question though.
I was wondering.
Age. Yeah. So that's the age that I'll go back to. So 19, I'm just starting my life. As we all are at these 19, 20 kind of years, 25 and so on, emerging as a young adult right there, new to life, so to say. I would just go back to that Chris and go, mate, don't worry, it's okay. No one knows the future. Do not invest all that energy and time in someone's verdict of whatever their interpretation of this hereditary condition was. Don't worry about the things you can't control outside of your life. Control and focus on what you can control. Don't worry about the rest. It's a waste of energy. And that's the advice I'll give.
Yeah. So many people are out there just focusing on things that they can't do anything about, instead of focusing on what they can do things about. That is so powerful. Awesome. So my next question is a question that I also ask all of the guests on the Entrepreneur Journey, and that is the fill in the blank question. It's different for every person that I ask. Your fill in the blank question is: entrepreneurship is not just about building a business; it's about blank.
It's about pursuing impact, and it takes decades to make an impact. When are you going to start making your impact if it's going to take decades?
That's right. If I could kind of just push back and argue a little bit,
sure.
It's the measure of the impact. You make a great you can make an impact like right away, and it depends on situations and circumstances. But you can start making an impact right away. But the amount of your impact takes decades.
What I mean impact is your ability to deliver value. And if you can deliver value, then you make the impact.
That's right.
Your ability to deliver the service to a standard, your ability to deliver on the promises you make, your ability for you to be a great leader, a great boss, a great employer, staff, whatever it is, ability to be a great designer, editor, writer, that goes across the board. But it's about our ability to do the best work and bring our best selves forward.
Yeah, and that doesn't. You're right. That doesn't happen overnight. You have to become that person, and you have to be willing to become that person. So yeah, so powerful. All right. Now you elaborated on your story just a little bit before, and I am anxious to hear as someone, I'm going to tell my age here. Paul Harvey used to say the rest of the story, right? I'm ready for myself and the audience to hear the rest of the story. So if you could elaborate kind of on your entrepreneur journey, how you got into entrepreneurship, all the trials, mess, whatever was in there, and share that with us, that'd be awesome.
No worries. Would you like a short version or a quick or a little bit version, or what version would you like?
Whatever version you're ready to tell.
Sure.
Let's just however you want to do that.
I'll go on the mid one, not the big one.
Yes.
So as you all know now, I got diagnosed at the age of 19. So that made me, that I'll be dead by 30. That made me question after I settled and healed from that terrible diagnosis. I did what any other 19-year-old person would do when you get such news. What do you think a 19-year-old young person getting diagnosed that they're going to be dead by 30 would do? What do you think a 19-year-old would do?
Well, if I had to guess, I'd say a lot of people would give up and say, well, I'm just not going to try.
Fair enough. Exactly. I didn't know what to do, and I had no idea. Giving up was one idea, but it was too overwhelming, and I couldn't even come up with a strategy on how to handle this. So I did, or what I knew what I could do at the time, which was to ignore it, to pretend it didn't exist. And by doing that, I had no idea that would plant the seed of me living a victim lifestyle, a victim mindset development from that. See, when we run away from anything in life, we empower life to control us. We are in control of our lives. Circumstances are not in do not control me or our lives or my circumstances. I'm talking to you now. I've got 6 brain tumors. I've got 4 cancers. So what? I might die. So what? None of those things are in control. I'm in control of self. See, when you're in control of yourself, you are an empowered individual. You've got something to contribute to this world. You can serve. Your cup is full. When we run away from life's challenges and problems, we empower life for us to be the victims. We didn't, and we will be left with those excuses and reasons. Do not become a victim of your life. And sorry, I had to pass a little message there before I share the story.
No, it's good.
So I'll get back to the story now. So 19, there I am, ignoring my condition, running away from it. I took 21, I ran away from life and went traveling around America, actually. I spent 6 months at 21 driving around this beautiful country, enjoying and having an incredible adventure everywhere. I zigzagged everywhere and a road trip, actually, and for 6 months.
Nice.
And then I came back to Australia and was wondering, okay, well, now what? What am I going to do? So my father at the time stepped in and said, okay, Chris, here's a job. You must work. What's wrong with you? You need security. You are not. You're not going to survive without a job. You get a job. And so he got me a job in a factory where he worked. First in a factory that he knew, and then after that in a factory that he worked in. He was the boss of about 1,000 employees, and he helped immigrants from Macedonia migrate in Australia. So I've got the Macedonian ethnic background, but I'm born and raised in Australia. And so I worked in that job for about 2.5 years. It was the Groundhog Day, and I was wondering, so I wanted a job in advertising, but no one would give me a job that I want. I wanted to apply my creativity. I know I'm creative, but no one will give me that chance. I couldn't find satisfaction in a job I want. I couldn't find fulfillment and meaning. And for some reason, fulfillment and meaning in a career meant something for me, even though I'm going to be dead by 30. And I was wondering, well, why should I give a shit about this? I'd rather just party and have fun and make a laugh of everything. Why do I care so much about having a career? And that's when I realized, well, there's no way if I'm going to be dead by 30, I'm going to continue being in a job that I don't enjoy, that I don't get any satisfaction. Is this what society expects of me? Is this what the world expects of me? To live out my life doing something I don't like just because I need to survive, pay the bills? Am I a biological human being designed to pay bills? Really? That's how I saw it. And my diagnosis allowed me to question society's ways, allowed me to question life. And that was the blessing of my diagnosis, because it challenged me to not settle into status quo. It challenged me to not settle into mediocrity. It challenged me to not settle into the way how other people are thinking around their lives around me. You have no idea how much these external environments shape us. Our environments shape us. And these environments that I happened to be in back then shaped me in those ways. Security. Stability. How are you going to survive? How are you going to look after yourself? Warrior. There's no fulfillment enjoying that.
No.
So that was me. So then I decided at 24, I'll quit this concept called job. I'll quit the idea. I had enough. I said, I'd rather be dead. I'd rather be on the streets, broke, on my knees. Living the way I want to live, rather than living on my knees begging for life. I want to embrace living, and I want to embrace who I am. And that was me at 24. I then spent 8 months soul searching because I had no idea what I wanted. I had no idea about my strengths, my weaknesses, who I truly am. And you really got to look inwards to know who we are. There's so much. We are like a rabbit hole that goes deeper and deeper and deeper the more we look. It's amazing. And we have this infiniteness about us. It's incredible the deeper we go. And the more deeper we go, the more powerful we are. The more we go in silence, the more I grow. Anyway, it's another topic. And so that was the seed. Then I started reading the entrepreneur books, and Robert Kiyosaki was one of them, of course, the 4 quadrants, Rich Dad, Poor Dad kind of stuff. And so I thought, I was in a factory. I might as well start my first business that is within an industry that I'm familiar with, a factory. I hate it, but I did it anyway. I started a factory. I got successful. I had 100 staff straight away in 6 months. I was getting these big deals, started with a factory that my dad gave me as a first contract, then Remington, then this large cleaning company. I created a business where I provided on-demand labor locally in Melbourne, Australia, to service these large manufacturing companies around the area for quick jobs that needed instantly a large workforce.
Wow.
And I didn't have the workforce that I was selling. And you know, I just made up an idea, but I executed it on it. The first one was really bad, but then I learned. Anyway, I made all this money, got bored. I sabotaged the business because I was bored. I found myself in the same situation I was in with the job I was in. I was getting no fulfillment and satisfaction. And yet this time I was running my own business. And this time I was making a shitload more money, excuse my French.
Yeah.
So running a business and being the entrepreneur wasn't the point either. So I was looking for satisfaction and fulfillment. So I applied myself in creating products. I went to Taiwan and China and made these products. I spent all my money doing this and then try to commercialize the products and get them distributed and put them on these shelves everywhere. Now that was another rookie mistake. I had no idea what I was doing. I lost all my money. And then I went from a successful business. So I went from a job that I didn't like to no idea what I wanted to a business that succeeded, made me almost my first million, to then losing it all, going almost bankrupt, to then laying low and saying, well, what's the point? I'm just going to hustle, wheel and deal. And just, my motivation went from making wealth to surviving without paying off the debts and wondering how in the world am I going to take care of this huge $400,000 debt when I'm hardly earning any money. And then a brain tumor hit me. At 2005, a tumor that I ignored my condition finally caught up to me at the age of 32.
Oh.
It almost killed me. This tumor was so big because I had a headache for 2 weeks and the doctors were like, Chris, you've let your hereditary condition go. Oh, yes, that's right. I got that hereditary condition. I ignored it so much. I honestly almost forgot about it, though in the back of my mind, it was always there. The tumor had grown so big that they diagnosed me on a Tuesday. They operated on me on a Thursday. I'm like, whoa, doc, you mean you're going to enter my private space? You mean you're going to go into my head, my brain? I'm having a brain operation? Who the hell has a brain operation? What do you mean there's 100 different brain operations? What? Can you imagine? And so that's what happened. And so that was at 32. I had the brain operation. It all went well, thank God. But that was my wake up to my mortality. I realized, wow, if I don't start living my life the way I want to, I may never get a chance to. I woke up to the scarcity of our mortality and the realization. So for so long, I had anxiety about mortality, a fear of death. But then that experience allowed me to take a year off the following, like in 2005, I took a year off in the following year in 2006, because after the brain operation, they scanned my body and they realized, wow, you're riddled with tumors everywhere else. They removed my right kidney 2 months later, full of 95% cancer. I let my condition go. I was supposed to be checking myself yearly. I was supposed to be managing my tumor growths, and I did none of that. So it almost killed me. But after that adversity, when I took that year off and went to heal and just wake up to this realization, it took me months. I actually was in India meditating for 3 weeks, 5-7 hours a day when I touched my essence twice. And that was the moment when I finally came to terms with my mortality and the magnitude of all that I've come with since the age of 19.
Wow.
I was 33. So like it took me 13 years, pretty much 14 years to come to terms with my diagnosis and my mortality. And the moment I did, I realized that our mortality doesn't matter. It's part of life. As a matter of fact, thank God we are all mortals, because we have gratitude in our lives. We have a desire to make the most of it while we've got this time here. It's a gift. Otherwise, we are entitled if we can live forever. Gratitude diminishes so much. This need of being worthy and wanting to serve and contribute diminishes so much. So it's all part of this plan. So I value that we're all mortal, that we've all got this existence and it's not forever, because how much power do we accumulate and self-interest do we accumulate over and over? Imagine if you have to live forever. Jesus, the whole world, the whole planet will exist to feed one person one day.
Mhm.
So that's not the design of the planet. That's not someone's design there.
That's right.
So that's why I appreciate your mortality. Do not be afraid of it. Be grateful for it, because the moment you can come to terms with your mortality is the moment you can appreciate the present moment, the gift of life. You can embrace living whole, true. You can realize that there's nothing to fear. Actually, I've got
right.
nothing to lose.
That's right.
Why am I settling? I'm not getting out of here alive. None of us are. What are we doing? Limiting ourselves so much before we even begun anything.
Mhm.
That's why waking up to your mortality is so important.
Yeah, that is really, really good. And what comes to mind is, like, if we were immortal, how much I'll put it off till tomorrow comes into play. How there'll be countless tomorrows
Yeah.
to put it off till. So how productive as a society would we be?
That's right. I mean, it's not a good model. It's not a good model. And plus, I mean, it's a shocker. I mean, if you haven't flourished in life, if you haven't found yourself, if you haven't realized your inner gifts, if you haven't expressed those in any which way, if you've been living like a victim, imagine living for eternity like a victim. Not a good way.
No. Wow.
Imagine never waking up. Not a good way.
Yep.
So it's all good. It's all part of the design. And so after that year, when I traveled around the world, my second chance to life was to have fun with as many women as I possibly can. Anyway, I was 32 at the time. When I got back, I realized now what? I helped some friends. I was still living on deals, side hustling everywhere. And then I fell in love with the Filipino culture, the Filipino people, and I fell in love with a Filipino wife, who's now my wife, Rika.
Nice.
When I was in the Philippines, I fell in love with the family values there, the culture, the tropical island, and the fact that there was so much more in that economy, this economy of scales. Like, it was so much more cost effective to employ somebody to represent what I'm trying to do in Australia, my entrepreneurial endeavors, where I don't have to break the bank trying to pull off what I'm trying to pull off in my things. And that was the seed of my company, Remote Staff. And that was in 2007, before the time of remote work. Who would have ever thought that doing this business for 16 years, that remote working would become a thing because of a pandemic around the world? No idea. Who would have thought that offshore staffing would explode the way it has, thanks to the pandemic? No idea. So I'm now in this giant industry, which my name, Remote Staff, represents this huge category in the industry. And I've created that business where I'm still doing it today, where now my wife is the CEO, and I'm in the pursuit of representing this work that I'm so driven and I have a flame for. And that work is associated to the book, Near-Death Lessons.
Nice.
So in Near-Death Lessons, a journey of healing, entrepreneurial success, and the creation of impactful life. And I'm now endeavoring to do that. So, but that's basically me. And while I was running remote stuff, you got to remember the entrepreneurial energy in us, the need to create, the need to distract ourselves sometimes. I found myself building a real estate portal in the Philippines. I found myself doing everything else in the middle you can imagine. But that's me. That's my story.
Yeah. Wow. So much good stuff in there. So what I missed in there, when did you write I don't think you covered this. When did you decide to write the book?
Right. So it was after a second brain operation.
Oh, wow.
So in 2016, while I was running realestate.ph, I was burning like $75,000 a month. Like, I'm running I don't know why I built a portal business when the portals is who burns the longest wins.
Yeah.
What was I doing? These guys I was competing with are billionaires, and they're getting funding, 20 million here, 30 million there. And I'm self-invested entrepreneur, putting in millions of my own after-tax money. What am I doing that for? When they're just burning money to buy the market, and whoever burns the longest gets the market. I had no idea that there's such a game out there that's played.
Yeah.
But there is. So
only those with the biggest chips can play that game.
That's right. And so I played that game. Can you believe it? Yeah. I actually got to 105,000 listings, 14,000 brokers in the Philippines because I built
Wow.
that business in the Philippines. I thought I know the landscape. I've got all this talent and resources. I might as well build it there. I literally bought the domain realestate.ph in the Philippines,
Wow.
and I ran with it. What a journey. I did that for 2.5 years. I proved to myself that I could do this. I could beat the big boys. For about 5 months, I beat them. I looked in the mirror. Sometimes we all have to have that moment that, I should go big. That sometimes we have to prove things to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
The most important person in this life,
Yep.
the person we live with for the most,
Yeah.
ourselves. And
Yep.
I did that. To me, that was that moment, but it almost killed me as well. Because my hereditary doctor said, Chris, I can't believe you've chosen a career as an entrepreneur because your hereditary tumors grow when you stress. You got to do whatever you can to avoid stress. I go, that's not a way to live. Plus, stress is manageable. Stress is good. Stress helps me grow. Stress helps me make better decisions. It's only when I'm in the negative. When I'm in the red line is when I stress. When I'm in the black, stuffing up, losing money here, there, as long as I'm in the black, who cares? But I can't. It's a bit different when you're burning 75,000 every month.
Yeah.
It's a bit, that's stress. Doing that for 2.5 years, you stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I grew two brain tumors as a result. So one of the tumors, when I had the operation to remove them, burst in my head,
Ooh.
almost killing me. 60% of people, when that happens on the operating table, die. And so it took me 8 months to learn how to walk and talk. That's how my left side works now, 7 years,
Wow.
50 years, 7 years of movement. Learning how to walk and talk, what an experience. I realized that, wow, I had the operation 1 month before the birth of my second son, Billy. And I thought, I need to write a book for my sons to know who their father was. So I wrote my book initially for my sons. And I didn't want them to hate me from the grave. I didn't want to tell them how to live their lives. I didn't want to be heavy-handed and tell them what to do. I just wanted to tell them my story because I know it was a fascinating story. Every time you get knocked out, nearly died, bounce back, rebuild your life, realize that everything, when you're back from death and you're back, you realize it's all a perception. It's all about how you've interpreted things.
Yep.
Nothing is the way it is. It's just our friggin' interpretation.
Yep.
So annoying. Anyway, and to do that over and over, I needed to share the story for my sons to know this. But then a year later, after that horrendous brain operation and horrendous rebuilding of one's life, I was bedbound for 3 months. And because I was bedbound, who would have thought it's so toxic to be just lying in bed? I grew 6 fast cancers on my remaining left kidney. I became a diabetic in bed. All these things happened to me. And then here I am another year later, I'm fighting for my mortality again.
Wow.
And that's when I realized 5 days after the kidney operation to remove the 6 cancers, I bargained for my life again, because the first time I bargained for my life, I said, Doc, give me 10 more years of my kidney life and I'll employ thousands. That's how I started Remote Staff. And now here I am later, I got my 10 years. Here I am later, having my operation on my kidney, second time on my left kidney, second time on my left, to remove 6 cancers, not 4, this time 6. And I said, mate, give me another 10 years of life and I'll inspire millions. So that's where the idea came from, because I wrote the book for my sons. So I spent 6 years writing this book, 6 years.
Wow.
And because I'm spiritually obligated to make that impact and to deliver on an impact, to inspire. For me, inspiring means opening people's perspectives, empowering them to wake up if they're victims, helping them recognize that it's all within us, and helping them understand that there is really this seed of greatness in all of us that needs to be expressed, and that we all have so much to contribute here, and to help them understand how to create, not find, create a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives. It's our choice.
Yep.
It's all our choices. What's funny is that we all get confused so much because we have choice. But if we follow our instincts, it's so much easier. If we tap into that energy, fuel what gives us energy, it's so much easier.
And combat fear, right? Like so many people have a fear mentality.
It's funny when I talk to people, because most of them are so driven and motivated by making the right decisions or not doing something, or this whole fear thing, that they don't understand that, wait a second, Our energy per day is limited, meaning our willpower, our focus, our energy is limited. We're not an energizing bunny battery. We don't have this unlimited Tesla battery in us. Okay, yep. We flow. We need a rest. We need to sleep and re-energize again. We have limited energy. Everyone, wake up! You cannot rev out at like a fast sports car at 9,000 revs the entire day.
Right.
Energy is limited, and so we have to invest that energy in the present moment. Do not invest it too much, and many people don't realize that they're investing so much in the past. Why are you giving so much fuel to the past? Feed the present and feed just enough of a future, but keep it to the present because you need to execute. You need to deliver.
Yeah, I love so many people have the concept of time, right? Without really putting the emphasis on energy, like you kind of just said. Like I only have so much time. You really only have so much energy. And how you apply that energy within that time is really what moves
energy is more real.
Yeah.
Because time is just warped. Time is just a human concept. But manage energy. Focus on the times when you're sharp. Deliver throughout the whole day. You're going to work all day, aren't you? We all bloody do. It's crazy. I can't believe how hard Americans work. It's not. Everyone's striving to do the best work they can to make this impact and everything else, but they're not doing it efficiently sometimes. So if you're going to work all day, but squeezing life, squeezing healing, squeezing regeneration, squeezing gratitude, squeezing all these things, and work within those moments that you can be optimized. Don't just burn your whole day, burn this gift called life, just because you're that driven and determined.
Yeah, you don't want to look back and just say, "Oh, all I did was work. I didn't enjoy any of it, or I didn't have any rest." That would be a terrible feeling, right? To reach that.
Regret weighs heavy, and we all have. Life presents us with opportunities. It's our choice whether we see them or not. It's our choice whether we act on them or not. It's our choice whether we can connect the dots and optimize and capitalize or not. It's all our choice. Now, the last thing you want to do is live a life of regret, because regret weighs as time passes. And then when you've got far less life ahead of you and you've got far more life behind you, and you look back and all you see is a lot of regret, and you're still thinking about that regret, it's not a healthy way to live.
No. Seize the day. Carpe diem.
And life is supposed to be light. Life is supposed to be joyful. It's supposed to be enriching for everyone and life. We are supposed to come here, fertilize things. We literally, when we die, we become fertilizing ourselves. Replenish and nurture things. Take care of this world that we've got and our lives around us, and help us all become much more potent, powerful human beings, spiritual beings.
This is a really good segue to the next question. It's the secret question that I ask all. I ask a secret question, but I don't ask them all this question. Your secret question: what is the secret to a life of no regrets?
No regrets. I mean, this is at the end of the day what I think the crack of my work is, because my story helps. When I share my story, and people who read the book, often they come and reach out to me and say, "Look, I've done a lot of reflections, Chris, on my own life, and I realized I'm not living a true life to myself. So therefore, 2 weeks later, I quit my job," or something like that. I go, "Hey, I've got to put a disclosure on my book." Anyway, or somebody hurt their back, and they were feeling sorry for themselves, feeling like a victim, and they read my story, and they go, "Holy cow, what am I making all the excuses for? Look at all the stuff that Chris has gone through, and look at him. He's still successful. He's still determined. He's more driven than ever. He's still hungry for life. He's still making the most of his life. Why am I embracing my excuses?" And he finally picks up his life and does something. It helps you reflect on your own life. So one way to realize how you can live a life of no regret is to realize that first and foremost, you are not a victim. You're not a victim. Life is not punishing you. You don't have to do anything. You're worthy as it is, okay? Relax. Now, if life is a joy, then feed what gives you energy. Learn and understand what gives you joy and happiness, because that's your clue towards how you can make your impact, that deliver that value that I said. Focus on that energy, because remember how I said, we talked about it. Don't focus time, focus energy. Well, then pay attention to your energy. Understand what fuels your energy, what gives you so much drive and energy, and you feel like you're floating. Follow that, build on that, invest in that, grow that like a skill. You'll be surprised how much energy gives you clues about your purpose, gives you meaning and impact. So that's my recommendation and my big tip.
Yeah, I love that. Do the things that give you energy and don't do the things that drain you. Like realistically though, sometimes you may have to do something that will drain you, but focus on the things that will give you the most amount of energy to move you forward, because that's
throughout the day we need to operate. And yes, I do things that are that are not within my I have 107 staff and I'm still doing stuff I don't want to do. But it's about the time of the whole day. Is your whole day focused with things that fuel you more or drain you more? Make sure you are in tune with that, and you start investing more and more of your day that fuels you. You see, at the end of the day, I am more energized, more excited, more pumped, more fulfilled, more satisfied every day than I am the other way. So when I meet these people who have a whole day, they've lived out that whole day, and they're drained, exhausted, fatigued, tired, they want to get away from it all, I'm like, man, you're not living the true life for you.
Yeah,
you ain't got it right.
I resonate with that, because one of the things that fuels me is having conversations with people like you, sharing your value with the audience. I also have a network of people that I pour into, and just building relationships and growing businesses. That's what excites me, right? And but there are still those little things, that I have to do on a daily basis that drain me just a little bit, but I make sure to focus on the top line things that drive my energy. So very, very
brilliant.
powerful. My next question, you may have touched on this already a little bit, but how has your near-death experiences shaped how you go through business and entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I mean, this is what's unique about me. I mean, how often do you come across a possible mentor who's died at 8 times almost, had 8 near-death experiences, and is an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur? And so mixing entrepreneurship and death is my uniqueness.
Yeah.
And so when you mix entrepreneurship and death, what comes to mind is a couple of things. One, what matters to you in this life will still matter for you when you're gone. Who's to say when you pass, that ain't going to be important for you, that your children and your family are all looked after, or the things that you're striving all your life to serve and contribute and make an impact for aren't going to matter when you're gone? Of course they are. Because every time I've crossed over the other side, somehow I'm in this black void, no physical form, but I've still got presence. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
There's still presence that exists in the other side.
Yeah.
I'm flatlined, presence in the other side. Not once, multiple times. So when you've crossed that other side and you come here and you realize there's still presence in the other side, then therefore what matters to you in this life will still matter for you in the next. Just 1, 2. It's going to take decades to make that impact, to deliver that value for you to grow, to become that person, to deliver that impact. When are you going to start? And you can't start unless you listen to yourself and understand what gives you that energy. And do what you can. Honestly, do what you can to know that life isn't all about just servicing you. You've got to look after you, because you can't look after the world and you can't change anything unless you are being looked after. You have to look after you. Do not ignore you. So walk, eat well, focus on your energy. Do not feel selfish that you're personally growing for yourself or taking the time to heal. Because that's one of the things most people make a mistake on. They fail and they get back into it straight away. No, take some time out, reflect. All of this changes when you get knocked out, when you fail, when you nearly go bankrupt, when it doesn't work. All of it requires subconscious thinking. And that subconscious thinking does not happen consciously. Your consciousness is a small part of your whole being. So let your subconscious heal. Let it do its connections. The synapses, let them do. They'll bring them and bubble up to the surface where your silly part of the brain, called your consciousness, becomes aware of your more powerful subconscious part of your brain. Let it heal. Let the connections learn from hindsight and gain perspectives on seeing adversity in a way that you could use adversity as a platform to bounce, like I have time and time again. We grow that way.
Yeah, very, very true.
So anyway, the best way I wanted to conclude by saying is that we all have a plan. We all see the plan. Nothing goes to plan.
Yeah.
You know,
I like to say God has
has
another plan. Like God knows, God's got it all mapped out for you. You just don't know where he's taking you. He sees it before you do.
You got to listen. There's far more heart signals. God communicates through our heart, right? There's far more heart signals. There's more pathways and signals neurologically going to the brain than there is the brain going to the heart. Okay.
Yeah.
That's science.
One of the other things that I want to touch on real quick is the idea of following someone that's kind of cycled. Well, what I mean by that is you have, like, if someone hasn't failed yet, they're going to probably fail, because that's the way you learn and grow, right? Is you learn through failure. So if you're going to follow somebody, don't hold their failures against them. Hold them to a higher standard, because they've learned something through those failures that someone that has not failed yet has not learned.
Well, someone who doesn't fail means that they're being too safe. They value security and being right all the time more. They read so many things before they make any decision. They're looking for so much certainty before they act. Really? No.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And if they fail, if they make mistakes, let's talk to the individual right now, the individual listener. If you have failed, if everything's gone wrong, nothing's gone to plan, you've stuffed up after stuffing up after stuffing up, okay? We get it. Listen, we're all creatures of judgment here. We all make judgments, whatever. Forget about other people's judgments. Forget about other people's opinion. They're not living with you. You're living with you. So stop being so harsh on yourself. Do not be such a critique to yourself. It's part of the journey. You don't know. None of us know. If we knew, we'll do better. But we don't. Okay, when we apply ourselves and we really push that boundary, we want to see how far we can go in this life. We don't bloody know. Yes, we're going to stuff it up. Yes, we're going to make the wrong decisions. That's what's required to learn how to make a better decision. You see, when you stuff it up, it's the only time when I stuff things up is when I know I don't want to do that again. I'm going to do it that way. Oh, this time it worked. Oh, this time I got the results I sought out to do. Yep. That didn't work. Now I know, oh, that worked. So I'll do more of that or refine that. I eventually figure out. It's like we're blind. But we've got to go in faith, have that faith to go forward. Yep. And know that you ain't going to step forward in the dark without hitting the walls or falling off a cliff. Relax. It's all part of it.
Yep. Yeah. You can, sometimes you only see like 2 or 3 feet in front of you. Like everything else is dark.
But also when you're going through that valley of darkness, so to say, don't stop. Keep going. Don't be that judge that say, oh, I'm a failure. What the hell are you saying all these things to yourself for? You'll be shocked. Your subconscious might believe it. Stop it.
Yeah, to go back to a previous question I asked you, you don't really have, you said you don't have a mantra. I do have a mantra that I keep moving forward. And that's what I close every podcast with is I say, keep moving forward. So that what you just said really resonates with me. And that's what I'd like to pass on to my audience all the time.
Sure.
So I think I had some other questions planned for you, but I think we've covered those in a lot of what you've already said. So what I'd like to do now is say thank you very much for this interview. And if you have something that where people can go to find out more about you, have anything to offer them to kind of take the next step in a journey with you, please present that.
Sure. Look, if anyone wants to reach out to Doug, please, I'll be more than delighted to give you a copy of the book. I'll personally go to post it for you. Now that I'm leaving, so I live between, as I said, LA and Sydney. I leave this Sunday. but I'm back in January, mid-January. So when are you looking to? This is live, right?
It's live right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if anyone who reaches out, if 5 people reach out, I would be delighted to personally go to FedEx and sign a copy of my book and post you a free copy of my book, and I'll pay for the shipment within America. Shipment with FedEx in overseas is too expensive.
Yes.
It's like $90 to bloody post something in Canada. It's ridiculous. But that's my gift. If you want to find out more about me, my work is just developing. You got to look me up. My surname is a big one, but I'm sure you'll put it there. ChrisJankulovski.com is the best way. And you can find my book obviously on Amazon as well.
Nice. Well, we'll put all the links. We'll put the link to your LinkedIn, any other socials that you give us. We'll give your social links, as well as a link to buy the book on Amazon. It has been a pleasure, Chris. I have learned
and
so
the free
much.
gift.
That's right. Don't forget the free gift. So even if you're watching this live, please leave a comment or something. Say, hey, I want that book, and we'll reach out to you. If you're watching this on recording, those books may already be gone, but if not, still leave a comment, and we'll see what we can do about getting you a book. But once again, I'm so glad I met you. I reached out to you like a couple months ago when we had trouble getting it scheduled. But you are exactly the type of entrepreneur that I love to share their story with, because you've been through it, and you've come out the other side better and stronger, and you have that to pass on to the entrepreneurs that are listening. So once again, thank you very much. I do have one last question that I ask every single entrepreneur, just to give them the floor. If you have any further advice that you'd like to pass on to any entrepreneurs listening.
Hey, 2024 is ahead of us. How awesome. When I was diagnosed with my kidney tumors and told that I might not have a kidney after my cancer, after the operation, I might be on dialysis. All this doom and gloom, okay? I was given that. And then I reflected on that. I realized, hang on a minute, no one knows the future. Why am I putting so much energy, fear into this future that's unknown? Why don't I dare hope that the best is yet to come? And why don't I put my energy and focus on that? So please, be motivated in 2024 by your desires, not your fears. Be motivated by the potential of who you can become, not your doubts and insecurities. Feed the right beast, and that beast is called hope. It's much more powerful than you realize. Then fear is debilitating. Let that not be the case for 2024. Fuel hope, okay? That's my last message.
Yes, I love that. If I could just add a slight tag to that, and there's no better time than now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So just put that foot forward now, and until next time, entrepreneurs, keep moving forward. All right, off the live stream.